Good afternoon, students. So in this video and in the next few videos, I'm going to go over a series of grammar lessons taken from Betty Azar's grammar book, Maintaining and Understanding English. So without further ado, I'm going to start sharing my screen and going over Chapter 1, Verb Tenses. So this is the beginning of verb tenses. So in English, we use verb tenses to describe action in a sentence or in English. And so you have simple tenses, progressive tenses, perfect tenses, perfect progressive tenses. So when we have simple tenses, when we have simple tense, so the simple present, it snows in Alaska. Tom watches television every day. So in general, the simple present expresses things that are happening right now. Like I talk, he talks, they talk, we talk. So simple present simply means something that you're doing right now, but it's a completed action. I talk, I walk, I listen, I go to the theater, and you do it right now and you're done with it. Also, when you do simple present, it's something that happens every day. So like the sun rises every day, the sun sets every day. So that's the easiest tense of all of the English tenses, simple present. Simple past, it snowed yesterday. I went to the store yesterday. So when you have a completed action in the past, that's the simple past. Simple future, I will go to the store tomorrow. I will read my book tomorrow. So simple future simply means that you have something a completed action that you're going to do in the future. So simple present is a completed action in the present. Simple past is a completed action in the past. And then simple future is a completed action in the future. So those are the simple tenses. And so everybody has no trouble with the simple tenses. That's why they call them simple. Progressive tenses. Progressive tenses means something that's still in progress, something that is not completed. So if I say the present progressive, Tom is sleeping right now, or I am speaking on this Zoom video right now. So that's something present progressive or present continuous is something that I'm doing right now continuously, and it's not completed, unlike simple present. Okay, that's the difference. In the simple tenses, you have completed actions, but in the progressive tenses, all of the actions are still in progress, hence the word progressive or continuous tenses. So I am speaking right now, so that's present progressive. Yesterday at this time, I was speaking, so that's the past progressive. Future progressive is tomorrow I will be speaking at this time. So I am speaking, I was speaking, I will be speaking becomes the present progressive, the past progressive, and then the future progressive. Okay, so here is an example. It is now 11 o'clock. So here you have an example of present progressive. It is now 11 o'clock. Tom went to sleep at 10 o'clock tonight. He is still asleep. His sleep began in the past and is still in progress. In other words, it's the middle of the night and Tom is sleeping right this second. Actually, right now it is 4:22 Pacific, which means that somewhere in the world, someone is sleeping right now, right this second. I think that it's still too early for China to be sleeping. But anyway, so basically, present progressive means that something that's in progress and happening right now. Past progressive means something that was happening yesterday. So yesterday at this time, I was speaking on my Zoom. Tomorrow at this time, I will be speaking on the Zoom. So present progressive, past progressive, and future progressive all mean tenses that are in progress but at different times. Perfect tenses. Present perfect, past perfect. So when you have a perfect tense, it means you have two actions going on at the same time. When you have present perfect, that means you have an action that's a little bit in the past but still leaks into the present. So for example, if I say, since 1985, I have lived in Los Angeles. So that means I go back to 1985, which is in the past, yet I'm still living in Los Angeles. So present perfect is two actions, a little in the past and a little in the present, merging together as one. So that's the present progressive. I have lived here. I have taught on this lecture since, I guess, 20 minutes, something like that. So that means 20 minutes ago I started lecturing, and yet I'm still lecturing now. So I have talked on Zoom. So I have talked. That's the present progressive. When you have the past, when you have the to have verb plus a past tense, have talked. So that's present progressive. So Tom has already eaten. That means that he just finished eating. When you have a past tense that just finished, that's also present perfect. So I just finished my lunch. So that would mean that 10 minutes ago, I have just finished. So present perfect also means something in the past that just finished, just a minute ago, just a second ago. So that's present perfect. So then past perfect, you have two actions in the past. You have one action way in the past, then you have another action more recently in the past. So if I said that I had brushed my teeth, had brushed, that's the past perfect. I had brushed my teeth before I went to bed. So here, yesterday, this is all happening last night. So last night I had brushed my teeth, past perfect. I went to bed, simple past. So that the past perfect is always used when you have two actions in the past and you have one action in the past happening before another action in the past. That's known as past perfect, okay? So I had put my hat on before I started this lecture, okay? So that's you have one action in the past and then another action. Before I started this lecture at 4 o'clock, it's now 4:24. So you have two actions in the past. 4 o'clock is like a half an hour ago. So that's in the past. So I had put on my red hat, then I started my lecture at 4 o'clock. So two actions in the past, and you always use the past perfect that happens before another past action. Future perfect. Future perfect means something that's going to happen tomorrow. You have two future actions, and one future action is going to happen before another future action. So tomorrow at this time, I'm still going to be having this Zoom lecture, except I'm going to be doing chapter 2 of this book, because this is chapter 1 of this book. So tomorrow, I will have put this little red hat on my head before I will start my lecture at 4:30, talking about not chapter 1, which is all about verb tenses, but chapter 2, which I can't remember what that is, conditional, I think the next chapter is about conditional tenses. So when you have two actions in the past, the future perfect will have put, will have eaten, will have finished. That is the future perfect. That future action will have plus past tense plus another future action, then the future perfect is the one that comes first. It's the one that happens closer to the past. So it's the first action. I will have put on my hat before I will start talking. So two future actions, and the future perfect is the one that happens first. Basically, whatever is the perfect tense, had eaten, will have eaten, that always happens first. Okay, that's all you have to remember, is that perfect tense always happens first. Either it happens first yesterday, or it's going to happen first tomorrow. Okay, either way, it doesn't matter. Okay, so tomorrow I will have put on my hat before I will talk to my audience, or I will have put on this jacket before I will start that talk. So that's the future. Will have put, will have eaten. I will have eaten lunch before I will have put on this hat before I start this lecture. I know that's too many will haves. Usually you just use one and then one action. But anyway, you get the idea. So that when you have a lot of actions happening, and that's all going to be tomorrow, okay? Because today is December 21st, and so tomorrow is going to be December 22nd. So tomorrow I will have put on my hat before I will start chapter 2 of this lecture. Because what I want to do with this video series is I want to do all 10 chapters of this book, Grammar. So the perfect tenses are completed actions that are two actions happening either in the present, the past, or the future, and the perfect tense is always that first action that happens first. So and it's a completed action. Okay, I will have put on my hat. That means I put on my hat, that's done. That action is completed. Just like you have the simple past where I say I talked, he walked. Those are all completed actions. All right, now let's move over to perfect progressive tenses. I talk to my ESL students. They tell me that out of all of the tenses, the perfect tenses, this one, and these tenses, are the ones they have the most difficulty with and that they don't use. They tend to use the simple tenses: simple present, simple past, simple future, present progressive, past progressive, future progressive. Those 6 tenses, and then after that, that's it. When you try to tell students, but you could also use the perfect and the perfect progressive tenses, their eyes glaze over, like, huh? You know, like that. That's the, So, when you have the perfect progressive tenses, it's just like the perfect tenses. You have one action happening before another action. But instead of having the action be perfect tenses, I will have put on my hat, finished, and then I will talk. In future progressive, in the perfect progressive, that action is still continuing. Okay, just like the present progressive. So here you have the action still continuing while a second action is taking place. That's basically what it is. So Tom has been studying for 2 hours. So then you have has been studying, that's one action, and then 2 hours pass. So that's 2 different actions, and one, the has been studying, is still continuing right on. He hasn't finished studying, okay? So when you have the present perfect progressive, Tom has been studying. I have been talking for, I don't know, has it been an hour? Half an hour. Yeah, I have been talking for a half an hour. So that means, and I'm still talking. You notice I'm still yakking away so that is the present perfect progressive. It simply means that I'm still talking and you have one action happening before another action. How is that different from I am talking for 2 hours and I have been talking for 2 hours? I am talking for 2 hours means that something that's happening right this second, whereas I have been talking for 2 hours gives a nuance that it's happening a little bit more into the past. That's the nuance that foreign students do not get, is that whenever you have when you have either one of these tenses, either the perfect tenses or the perfect progressive tenses, it simply means that the first action happens farther in the past than the second action. Whereas when I'm talking about, let's go backwards just for a second. Here I'm just talking about one action. We're not talking about 2 different actions. We're talking about Tom is sleeping. I am talking. She is talking. They are talking, okay? We're talking about one action happening right now, continuously. Past progressive, one action happening continuously in the past. And then future progressive, one action happening progressively into the future. Same thing with simple tenses, in which you have one completed action now, one past action yesterday, and one future action tomorrow. So here, when you have the simple tenses and the progressive tenses, we're dealing with one action. That's it, one action. We're focused on that one action. As soon as we go on over to perfect tenses, we are focusing on two actions. And that is the main difference between simple and progressive tenses and the perfect and perfect progressive tenses. That's the only difference, is that one set of tenses deals with one action and the other set of tenses deals with two actions. When you have perfect tenses, you have two actions that are completed, okay? Tom had already eaten when his friend arrived. Two completed actions. Here you have two actions, they're not complete. One runs into the other. That's the difference between here the perfect tenses, where you have two completed actions, and then here you have two actions running into each other. And that's all you have to remember. And then you have to remember that these two actions that's running into each other happening either right now or yesterday or tomorrow. That's how you make it really, really simple, okay? Because otherwise you're going to confuse yourself silly, not knowing that. So you can always rewind this video and hear me say that over and over again until it makes sense. So here is a summary of the verb tenses. So here when you have the simple present, for example. So here we're going to go over the simple tenses and the progressive tenses. So remember that the simple and the progressive tenses deal with one action, okay? So in the simple present, you have I am eating. I eat, or I sleep. Okay, I wake up. I put on my clothes. I do my Zoom lecture. I eat lunch. I eat dinner. I brush my teeth. I go to bed. Okay, so those are all simple present. It's things that I do every day, and it's completed. Then, yesterday, I ate lunch at Lamonaco's. Okay, so here you have simple past and one action completed in the past. Simple future, I will eat lunch at Lamonaco's tomorrow. So here you have mainly here you have a series of actions because it's a habit, simple present. But basically we're all dealing with one completed action in the present, the past, or the future. Here you're dealing with one action that keeps going on. I am eating, she is eating, we are eating. Here you have an action going on progressively, that is continuously. I was eating, but going on in the past. I was eating, she was eating. Did I say that right? She was eating, they were eating, you were eating. And then here it's in the tomorrow, I will be eating at I forget the name of some restaurant tomorrow. I can't even think of some. So I will be eating. So all of this is one action that's progressive and it's continuous. It's not a complete action and going on as progressive either in the present or the past or the future. And then here you have two actions, okay? Here you have one action that happens a little before this line in the middle means the present, just so you know. And so in the present perfect, I have talked for 20 minutes. I have lived in Los Angeles since 1985. So you have something happening a little bit in the past, but still going on into the present. I have lived. I have talked. Past perfect means you have two things happening in the past. I had brushed my teeth before I went to bed. So this is have lived, had lived. Future perfect means two actions happening in the future. I will have finished my lunch before I will eat dinner. Okay, there you go. Two completed actions. So anything with present perfect, past perfect, or future perfect are all two completed actions. And then here, when you have the present perfect progressive, you have two actions that are not completed. One action runs into the second action. So Tom has been studying for 2 hours. So that means he started studying 2 hours ago and he's still studying. Tom had been studying for 2 hours before his friends came. So that means that Tom is still studying with his books open, and his friend comes in and says, "What are you doing studying on Christmas Eve? You should be taking your day off from work." But of course, Tom is a workaholic. He can never stop working. So Tom had been, and this was happening yesterday, okay, had been studying. And then, so this one is Christmas Eve, okay? Tom had been studying, and right now we're like, let's pretend that it's now December 28th. And so the friend is telling another friend, "Did you know that Tom had been studying when I came into the room? Had been studying. He's a workaholic." In other words, you have two actions happening in the past, and one action falls into the other action. Whereas in past perfect, Tom finished studying, put his books away, and he's sitting there looking normal, mind you. No one studies on Christmas Eve. So when his friends come over, you see Tom eating his chocolate and watching his football game. That's normal behavior. So then his friends are, "Hey, let's go watch the football game," and stuff like that. So past perfect. Whereas in past perfect progressive, Tom's still got his book open and his friends are coming to party and he's still studying. What's up with that? Why are you studying on a party day? Yeah, that sort of thing. So when two actions, one is overlapping into the other, that is the perfect progressive. Okay, future progressive is tomorrow is going to be, let's say, New Year's Eve. Tom will still be studying when his friends arrive. In other words, Tom never stops studying. He's just such a studyaholic. And his friends come over and goes, "Wait a minute, we came to visit you at New Year's, at Christmas. You were studying even then. You're still studying?" So you have, tomorrow he will have been studying for 2 hours by the time his friends gets home. Okay, so Tom never stopped studying. So when you have the present progressive, you have two actions and one action runs into another action. So this is my very short overview of verb tenses. And so here you can practice. So what do you do every morning? That's simple present. Every morning I take the bus to school. Or every morning I watch the sunrise. Okay, so here you're talking about the present tense. What did you do last night? Here's the simple past. Last night I watched television. What are you doing right now? Well, this is the present progressive. Right now, that means one action that's continuous. Right now, I am talking on Zoom. What were you doing at this time yesterday? At this exact time yesterday, I was walking from the bookstore to the classroom building. Actually, at this time yesterday, I was taking a nap. But that's not what so that is the past progressive. In other words, a continuous action that happened yesterday. Have you ever seen a comet? And so this is the present progressive, in which you have something happening just a little in the past, but still going on into the future. Have you ever seen a comet? Yeah, I've seen shooting stars, but I've never seen a comet. What will you do if you miss the bus tomorrow morning? And so this is the simple present. If I miss the bus tomorrow morning, I will walk to school. And so most people don't have any trouble using the simple tenses. What will you do? We just did that one. What will you be doing at this exact moment tomorrow? So here you have the future progressive. Tomorrow I will be celebrating Christmas, or I will be shopping for Christmas gifts tomorrow, or I will be watching television. Whatever I will be doing tomorrow, I'm not going to be working, that's for sure. So I will be, so that is future progressive. How long have you been working on this grammar exercise? And so here you have the present perfect progressive. I have been working on this exercise, I don't know, since 4 o'clock, and now we're at 4:43. I have been talking on this Zoom for 43 minutes. Wow, have I been talking that long? Damn, you guys must have Zoom fatigue by now. I better hurry this up. How long will you have been working on this exercise by the time you finish it? So here you have the future perfect progressive. So by the time I finish this exercise, I will have been working on it for 15 minutes. So here you have two actions, one action falling into the other. Whenever you have the future perfect progressive, that means you have two actions and one falls into the other. What will you have done by the time you go to bed tonight? I will have finished my homework. And so this is the future perfect. Future perfect. I will have finished my homework. In other words, when you have the future perfect tense, that means that you have one completed action happening in the future. So you can practice doing all of these. You can practice with your friends all the different tenses. What did you do every day? What do you do every day? Simple present. What did you do yesterday? Simple past. What will you do tomorrow? Simple future. What are you doing right now? Present progressive. What were you doing at this time yesterday? Past progressive. What will you be doing at this time tomorrow? Future progressive. What have you done since you got up this morning? I have, I don't know, washed my hair? No. I have something. Present perfect. Where am I? Oh, what had you done before you went to bed last night? I had brushed my teeth before I went to bed last night. So that's the past perfect. What will you have done by the time you go to bed tonight? Okay, that's in the future. I will have brushed my teeth before I go to bed. So that is the perfect future. And then what are you doing now? And that is present progressive. And what will you be doing before the teacher walks into the room? So this is the future perfect progressive. I will be studying my lesson when the teacher walks into the room. So here you would practice. So I would find that, and if any of you are interested in me doing a live lecture like this, but with you in the classroom, you can always email me and say, Professor H, can you do a Zoom lecture next week, and we can and I can be in your lecture. In other words, if you want me to set up a Zoom lecture just for you, in which I go over all of these verbs, but with you present and you practicing all of this, you just email me and then we'll set up a time. And so it's just like watching a play. A play is much more fun when it's interactive with people. So rather than just passively watching this video, if you want to actively participate, you can tell I'm getting to the end of my lectures when I'm talking about next time. If you want to actively participate, just email me. And if you want to do a live Zoom where you practice your verb tenses with me, you could just email me, and then I will set up a time. Okay, this video is just a kind of trailer. Think of it as a movie trailer to whet your appetite, to see if you're interested in learning more of this material, and then we could go over all of that's it, I think. Yeah. So basically, I just went over, okay, the simple tense, the simple tenses, the progressive tenses, the perfect tenses, and the perfect progressive tenses. That's it. So there are 4 sets of verb tenses in English. 12 tenses in all, off the top of my head, 3, 6, 9, 12. Yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to email me, and then next week we're going to do chapter 2. Yes, so next week we're going to do chapter 2, in which we're going to go over present, past, simple, progressive. In other words, I'll go over these tenses but slower. Okay, so that's going to be chapter 2 of this book. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me. So I hope you enjoyed the overview of all the past tenses in English. And if you have any questions and you want me to go over the tenses with you personally, just feel free to email me and we can schedule a one-on-one Zoom for you to learn your tenses correctly. For if you know how to write your correct tenses in your essays, this will make your essays, you'll be able to put in lots of nuances into your stories. So feel free to email me if you have any questions. Have a great day.